Good day and good evening to today's class. Thank you very much for making time to attend. Right, for today, we're going to start by continuing with regular expressions. Then we're going to move over to finite automata. So for our class today, we start with continuation of regular expressions, right? So the first thing that we do, we look at this question: construct a regular expression that defines the language of all words that do not end and begin with the same letter. So what we're trying to say is, if you start with an A, you end with a B. If you start with a B, you end with an A. You are sitting in the middle of this bracket. In between, we do not care what you're going to have, as long as you do not begin and end with the same letter. So this becomes the regular expression for this language. Right, moving on to the next one. Construct a regular expression that defines both the language of all words that contain either A substring or B substring, but not both. In such a case, we're going to do the following. So either we have got a BB or we've got an AA. Right? In which case, after we have an AA, we can have a BA, yes. We can have A's, yes. But as long as we do not have a BB. Or after that, if it ends with a B, we can have a BO now then. And then over here, we can have a BO or now, right? And then here we can have an ABO, A clean star, like that. So this is guaranteed only to have a double A. So we're going to have the same over here. So we can have A or now, and then we've got BAO, B. All right, then we can have A, B, O, B, then we can have A, O, now, like that. So this becomes the regular expression for this language. All right, now let's go on to the order of the business for today. Today we want to look at what is called the finite automata, right? And the finite automata is the machine that accepts regular expression, and by definition, it is given by three elements, right? So the three elements include, number one, a finite set of states, one of which is designed as the initial state. So we need a state that is designed one as initial, right? So you need a mandatory one designed as initial, and this is how you demonstrate initial. You put a negative sign inside. It is called the start state. So it designates to say start here. And the next, some, maybe none of which are designated final states. So final states are designated with the plus inside them. Right? So now, here you can have 0 of these or more of that. Or generally, you can have a state. Right? So these are general states which are neither start nor final states. Right, next, we need to have an alphabet of possible input letters. So our alphabet is provided. We've been using alphabet AB. So we stick to that alphabet. Right. Now, the alphabet or the tape at which the machine reads information, it reads only one letter at a time. So now, the last thing, which is one of the most important ones, is the finite set of transitions that tell for each state and for each letter of the input alphabet which state to go to next. So we have got the following, right? So each state, if we've got an alphabet over AB, right, each state needs to have an alphabet with A and B. So it will have A and B outgoing from it. Right, now, as a matter of notation, if we have got A and we have got B going to the same state, but we can rewrite this as A, B. Right. So this is notation that we generally use. Right. Now let's look at general ways in which some regular expressions can be denoted using their finite automata counterparts. So if we've got A, for example, number one, only A is accepted. We're saying A is accepted. This is initial, this is final. There is no B here. So a B would need to go to what is called a looping state. So a looping state is that state where all unneeded or unwanted elements go to. So the only way that's accepted is B. Anything other than that is going to the looping state. Once you get to the looping state, you cannot leave the looping state. Then number 2, if we've got A clean star, right, then we're saying because now is accepted, the initial state is also the final state. And we can have a loop of A's over here. Right. And then if we encounter a B, we go to a looping state, A or B. Right. Next, we can have A or B. So that will be 3. A or B clean star. A or B clean star now is a little bit different. So initial state is also final state because now it's accepted. And then we've got A or B like that. Right. Then if we have got something, number 4, right, when we've got a loop over a double letter, say you've got A, B, or B, A, this is typically what we do, right? Now is accepted fair and fine. Initial is equals to final state. Then if you start with an A, you can go to a final state with a B. And if you start with a B, you can go to a final state with an A. Right? So as long as you do that, you are in the way. Now what we can see here is that this one does not have an A sub A, and this one does not have a B output. So here it's a looping state for A and B. Right, so that are some of the most general representations. Now let's look at the actual questions. Well, before we go, let's look at the concept of determinism. Right. So I'll define what is not deterministic, so non-determinism. I'll define non-determinism, determinism, then hopefully you can, between the lines, what determinism is. So the first example of non-determinism is to have a state having the identical and exact transitions going on different paths. Right? So that is the first one. And the second one, we've got a state labeled, a transition labeled with now. The moment we do that, we recognize that the machine is non-deterministic. Now, let us look at the actual questions. Build a finite automata that accepts only those words that do not end with a BA. So now does not end with a BA, so now is accepted. The initial is also final state. If you start with an A, you are accepted. If you start with a B, you are accepted. Then if you start with a B and you have an A, you are not accepted. But after that, if you were to have another B, you could be accepted. Then let's say if you have another A, you could go to these A's. From an A, B is accepted, and though B is not accepted. We can also have A is accepted, B is accepted over there. Right, so once we can trace this down now, we now have initial state AB, this state AB, this state AB, this state AB. Right, next one. Build an FA that accepts only those words that they have more than 4 letter words. Build an FA that accepts only those words that have more than 4 letter words. So we accept only words with 4 more letters. So we've got A or B, that's the first one. A or B, that's the second one. Third one, A or B. Or more than 5 words, then A or B. That is got more than 4 words. So more than 4 means 5 and above. So once you've got these 4 or these 5, you can simply put a clean closure like that. A plus closure, meaning you can repeat this and more and gain more and more and more followers. Alright, so that's the finite automata for this. Let's just look at the next one. So you might have jammed one. Right, we can be asked to describe the language described by this finite automata. So the language is as follows. So we've got, let's look for looping states. Do we have any looping states close by? So this is a looping state. Right, so what we're focusing on is this over here. Right, now, if we look at it, the only way to get to final state with an A, so it's always ending A. Right, so it's always ending with an A. So here I've got A or B, and then you need to have an A. You can go to final, or we could have if the leaves there, it can have A or B, A. So this becomes a loop. All right. So is the language of all words that end with an A, right? Is the language of all words ending with an A. Language of all words ending with an A and at least two letters. So also it maintains even, right? Language of all words ending with an A and of even length. So rather, let's say language of all words with even length and end with an A. Even length and with A. Right. So that's that. Let's look again at another question. Do the finite automata that accepts the language consisting of all words containing the AA substring. So if you just need an AA substring, you can have anything that you like and anything that you like. Pretty easy one, okay? So AA is mandatory. Then do the finite automata that accepts the language of all words that do not contain AAB substring and end in BA substring. That do not contain AAB substring and they need to end in a BA substring. So if you've got B and you've got A, right? So it should end in a BA substring. So these are the first ways to. Right, now, if you continuously have other B's, you can chill here at the states, it's not a problem. If you have other A's, right? If you have other A's, as long as it does not contain AAB, okay? So we need to keep track of these A's. So when you've got an A, so AAB should not be contained. Once you have an AAB, go to a looping state. A or B, right? Then if you have got BA is there, and then B A, you've got B over there. So since we have that, if you've got A, you go to a looping state. If you come across a BA substring, so if you have a B, go there. Then if you have a B, go there. If you have an A at this point, right, you'll be having an AAB, so relax here. And then after you have a BA, right, if you have a B, go back. But if you continue with an A, right, if you continue with an A, so this A or BA is fine, right? This BA is fine, so we need to end with the BA substring always. So this one has got initial has got A and B, this one has got A and B, this one A and B, this one A and B, this one with A and B, this one only has got a B, does not have an A. So if you encounter an A, where do you go to? If you encounter an A, you want to be able to go somewhere. If you encounter an A, an A would not, so it will not take you, it will take you from the final state, okay? So it will take you from the final state. So let's say it will take you to the state over here, right? Such that if you have another A, then you're almost there. So that becomes it. Fine. So that will be all for today's class. And I would like to thank you very much for attending. So in the next class on Wednesday, we're going to be doing a lot of these finite automata questions, mostly difficult ones, so that we can adjust and adapt. Otherwise, we will meet again on Wednesday as we continue to do finite automata. So thank you very much for attending. If you have any questions, like as always, just send them through by email so that we can communicate effectively. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Good night.